All right, and to end my remarks here, there's an individual who posts on Recovery from Mormonism. His name is Stephen Sims. He goes by Salt Lake Drone. And he is a former mission president. And it was during his missionary experiences as a mission president that he discovered that Mormonism was not true. Came home and met with all the bigwigs downtown, tried to get the right information. Of course, they couldn't come up with anything that would change his mind, and he ended up leaving Mormonism. One thing that he posted on RFM is called Courage, My Friends, and I wanted to read that tonight to hopefully strengthen your hearts as you go through what we're going through. It says, I have read that many of you fear the fight. I have seen that some of you would rather not see the battle. You have found your freedom. You find yourselves comfortable in your escape. You write about yourselves and your reasons for being here. You're not sure you need to make a difference in the lives of others still under tyranny and oppression, at least not in any way that brings you discomfort or challenge. I don't call upon you to sacrifice your lives or even your lifestyle. You will not face inquisitors with any real power, only the power you relegate to them. It takes courage to make a difference in the world. 500 years ago, there lived a man with courage. In an age and time that personal religious beliefs were not allowed, in an age when dissenters were subjected to the cross or the stake to meet horrific death, this man began to doubt. He was not alone by any means, but those around him would never utter such disbelief. They had not the courage to condemn the Pope for fear of a mighty army directed from Rome. With courage in his heart and trepidation in his soul, he wrote his reasons for his moral break with the world as it surrounded him. Martin Luther walked the lonely distance to the cathedral door, and there he changed the world and gave birth to protest against tyranny. He didn't have all the answers, and said so. But he knew the Pope could only take his life, not his heart. He knew his actions would lead to bloodshed, strife, and suffering. But he held to truth and courage because he knew that the hardships he would bring down upon himself might serve to free enslaved minds and souls. He made a difference in the world. 225 years ago, in an age of discovery and exploration, a group of courageous men banded together to fight another type of tyranny. They too knew their actions would bring bloodshed, strife, and suffering. But like Luther before them, they weighed the consequences and knew that generations to come would be free in the pursuit of their dreams and happiness. The Declaration of Independence was not hidden or hard to find. It was not subtle nor cowardly. It stood as a testament to bravery against a mighty oppressor who might surely squelch their voice with its might. But they stood and fought to forge a new and great nation founded on principles of freedom from tyranny. Thomas Paine, one of the framers of this new and courageous nation, would later write, "Of all the tyrannies that afflict mankind, it is the tyranny of religion that I fear the most, for it seeks to follow a man from this world and into his eternity." Many of these men gave their lives for their beliefs to free their countrymen from the control of heavy-handed oppressors. Not everyone was up for the battle, and many loyalists fought the opposition even from within. Their voices faded in a destiny of greatness. Today, there are few in this great nation of the United States that long for the days of a monarchy to rule them. These courageous American patriots made a difference in the world. 40 years ago in the United States, that freedom had not been realized for a large portion of society. All men were created equal if they had a white skin. But the black man still hung his head as he moved to the back of the bus, literally and figuratively. Not a lone man, but a lone man stood at the forefront and dared. He dared to say it was right. Dr. King stood at the fateful podium and with courage in his heart declared, "I have a dream. Heresy to many, but freedom to others." He fought and died in the pursuit of freedom for all men and women. He made a difference in the world. 180 years ago, a new tyranny began to stir, conjured in the mind of a madman, empowered by the force of oppression and control. Mormonism raised its ugly head and began its reign of lies and deceit as it fights for the hearts and free-thinking minds of men, women, and children. In a more educated era, at this new millennium, it has had to don a new facade. It has had to put on its slick sophistry. It has developed well its friendly, smiling face. But for all the apparent wonderful intent, it robs the mind, the soul of truth, It destroys families disunited in belief of its fables. It takes the lives of those who fear they won't measure up to the impossible requisites. It is not benign, but a terror and a misery, a wreaker of havoc. It seeks control of the heart, the body, the mind, and the resources of each one it touches as it infiltrates the unsuspecting and unaware. It took me 40 years on my own to break from that paradigm. How often I have wished for a mentor, a savior from the oppression earlier in my life. Many of you have the same experience. What is my duty now? What is my passion? Can I, in good conscience, sit idly by as hundreds of thousands of unsuspecting victims, unaware that they are even victims, are consumed each year by the monster? Their individuality fading, their hearts surrendering, their minds stifled to a slow swirling haze. The men of Normandy gave their lives to stop a madman. They leaped courageously into the beach and sacrificed their very bodies to halt an oppressive philosophy. What will I do? Will I shrink into my comfortable leather armchair and mull over my pity? No, I cannot in good conscience wallow in my freedom, but I know it will take courage to make a difference. Now arises a new voice, a voice small and almost unheard, dissension from this terror, a voice that meekly cries out, no. That voice is hardly heard. It must be amplified if it will to make a difference in the world. The owners of that voice, a tiny band who have found freedom, who have a chance to be heard. They are not called to offer their lives or to sacrifice freedom. They only must speak up for the truth, for freedom, for thought. They must make their voice loud enough to be heard. The battle rages for the freedom of souls from this tyranny. A meek cry and a hidden agenda will make little difference. It takes courage to make a difference in the world. It takes courage. You've all expressed that. You've all realized that. And my call to you, I have no authority, I have nothing. I'm just another one of these lone voices. But I would encourage you to make your voice heard. Don't sit back. There are people out there suffering. I've had many of them in my home. I've talked to many of them on the phone and through email. They're suffering. They're hurting. They need your love. They need your strong shoulders. They need that support that you can give them, that warm embrace to tell them that it's okay, that they're going to make it. So please do what you can, whatever that means. If it's on the internet boards, if it's writing something to the press, if it's doing anything, if it's organizing a group, a support group, it's doing something. Utilize this newfound freedom that you've got for the betterment of others. And I promise you that it will better your life. It's better mine reaching out and loving other people who have done the same for me. I'm sorry I'm such a boob. What a terrible example for a president. Aren't you supposed to be strong? Thank you. Thank you. In closing, I do want to express my love, and it is absolute, genuine love. I love you. Many of you I know. Many of you I've got to know, and you've enriched my life, and many of you I don't know, and I hope to get to know. But I'm here for you. You need to call me. You're having a tough day. I'm here for you. Get me. I'll be there for you because I know you'll be there for me. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a splendid weekend. Live it up. Get drunk tonight. Be wild. And have a great time. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chad. We all need to take to heart the challenge that he's given us. And as I was sitting there listening, I was thinking about all the times that I have elected not to speak out, which probably aren't a whole bunch, but mostly it's my family. You know, there have been times when I could have said things and didn't to keep the peace, and I think we all need to examine really closely just, how careful we either need to be or don't need to be. And just a few spoken words at a very special time or certain time can make the difference in somebody else's life.